everyone, this is Glenda Lane, and I'm going to talk to you today about the fear response. You know, the response that happens when you're about to step outside your comfort zone and make any changes in your life. And this fear response happens the minute you start to think about doing something new. And this triggers a part of the brainstem called the amygdala. It's a very primitive part of the brainstem. And this causes a release of neurochemicals and hormones into your bloodstream that make you feel fear and anxiety. This is a very primitive reflex. This dates back to caveman days. You know, it's the reason we have it was to keep us safe, you know, from the saber-toothed tiger. But now, in this day and age, we are still having this fear response, but not so much to keep us safe. It's just an automatic thing that happens. And it's the thing that often keeps us stuck. And so what is really happening is you are triggering your sympathetic nervous system to come on board. That's that fight or flight response. And so what you might feel in your body is sort of jitteriness in your system, some tightness in your chest or even through your neck and back. Your heart rate might be increased, and same with your breathing rate. You might feel like, oh, I can't really catch a deep breath. And so that doesn't feel good, right? Like it feels pretty horrible, and you just feel totally off kilter and ungrounded and uncentered. And so what we do, because we don't like that feeling, is we tend to stop or we go backwards. You know, we step back into our comfort zone where we like it, where it feels good, where it feels comfortable, and it's where it's what we know. And so this is what keeps us stuck, right? It keeps us from taking those steps to move forward because it doesn't feel good. So one of the things that has really helped me when this fear response comes up is I've sort of changed my perspective. I now look at, when I'm feeling those symptoms, that really it's a signal that I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for an up-leveling in my system, rather than it being something that keeps me from moving forward. So that's one thing that's helped me. And then the other thing is, I'm sure you've heard the expression, feel the fear and do it anyway. And yes, I'm a proponent of that. However, I don't believe that it has to feel so yucky. There's this tendency to just push through despite the fear, but we're still not feeling great in our systems. So one of the things you can do is give yourself some relief before moving forwards. And some of the ways that I do that is, first step is slow down. You just take a pause. Trying to juggle a million balls in the air and run around at a fast speed really just enhances those feelings rather than helping them to dissipate. So take a pause and just breathe. Give yourself permission to stop for a moment. And then with your breaths, just really notice them initially. What do they feel like? Are they shallow? Are you breathing right down to the bottom of your lungs? Is the bottom of your rib cage expanding as you take your breath in? And just spend some time noticing your breath, and it will automatically start to slow down and deepen. And another thing that you can do, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with the emotional freedom technique, but it is a way, it's also referred to as tapping. And so what you can do is simply start tapping on some of the acupuncture points. And one of them is the karate chop point, like right here on the side of the hand, that you can just tap that. And that will start helping your parasympathetic nervous system to come on board. So taking deep breaths, tapping, and then there's also, some of you yogis are familiar with the alternate nostril breathing, right? Where you take a breath in through one nostril, closing the other, pitch it off, breathe out through the other. And then breathe in, pitch it off, breathe out. Right? And so doing a few minutes of that can also help bring your parasympathetic nervous system on board and help give you some calmness. So do yourself a favor. Don't keep trying to push through. It doesn't feel good, especially to women. You know, it doesn't feel good in our systems to be pushing. We want to be in movement and we want to be in flow, but we want it to be in a way that feels good. So next time you're feeling the fear, you're feeling that response, just take a pause. Give yourself the feeling of calmness, and then that is where you make your decisions about how you move forward. You know, when we're in fight or flight, we literally are stupid. You know, we're cut off from that logical reasoning part of our brain, and because we're kind of stuck in this primal reflex part of the brain stem. So calm yourself down, you know, just take a pause and then move forward from there. So I hope that's helped in explaining a little bit about the fear response. So until next time, much love.